Welcome to SAT TV News. I'm Alicia George, your presenter. In our top stories, Ministry of Health to observe a month of activities in recognition of World Health Day. FAO and Petrocaribe ratify agreements to reduce hunger in the region. Mexican vigilantes protest against plans to disarm them. And in sports, Sri Lanka wins 2014 ICC World 2020 title. Details of these will follow.
The wheel of change is here at SAT. New and exciting rewards just for you. SAT customers, simply pay your bill and get the new Loyalty Plus plan for free. That's 26 channels absolutely free for a limited period. Yes, you heard me, free. And if you do pay your bill, you'll have a chance to win big with SAT TV. Up to $15,000 in prizes are up for grabs. 7-inch tablets, BlackBerry smartphones, food vouchers, and much, much more. Get more from SAT TV, the people's choice. SAT terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. The second phase of the Nurse Mentorship Program was launched on Friday, April 4th, 2014. This program will consist of the mentoring and/or coaching of 75 nurses from the Princess Margaret Hospital and community health districts. The nursing service is committed to its vision of professionalism and excellence in nursing, and this program recognizes the significant role that nurses play in healthcare.
The main objectives of this program are to develop supportive and encouraging relationships, to guide nurses in their professional, personal, and interpersonal growth, promote mutuality and sharing based on the needs of colleagues, communicate information concerning expectations, learning opportunities, and stressors, and to strengthen management and clinical practice. The specific objectives of this program are to assist in coaching and molding nurses towards professionalism and competence during the first 6 months of practice and whenever deemed necessary by the supervisor.
Mrs. Farrell says this training was designed in 3 phases. The first phase involves conceptualization, organizing, and approval of the program, and culminated in the selection and training of 84 mentors and coaches, in addition to other senior staff. Mrs. Helen Royer, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, commended the initiative as the Ministry of Health seeks to meet increasing demands from the population.
This should inspire you, the mentors here today, to embrace this golden opportunity as a positive move to help you to develop to your full potential. I think sometimes when we speak of mentees, we seem to think that it's only useful for new, fresh out of school nurses or nurses with problems. This is erroneous. Mentorship programs are aimed at improvement in not only attitude, but improvement in the skills that you may need and that are necessary.
Nurses form the largest single group of professionals in the health sector in most countries, and as such, they widely influence and impact health outcomes. Mrs. Ray noted the Ministry of Health is continuing to make citizen-centered care the central focus of the services they provide.
Mentors are critical in our profession as they can guide nurses' career and help the mentee weigh alternatives and avoid pitfalls. At the same time, mentors enhance their own skills and the profession as they pass along knowledge and intangibles necessary for success. Please note that a mentor is above and beyond what you get in didactic training.
The program will be institutionalized and conducted on an ongoing basis for 6 months. Apart from trained mentors and coaches, facilitators include retired senior nurses, complemented by an in-service education program coordinated by a senior nurse. In more news, the Discover Dominica Authority, DDA, has launched Nature Island 2.0, the second of a nature challenge that was introduced last year. During the event, 4 teams will compete in a 4-day stage race that will cover roughly 50 miles along the renowned Waitukubuli National Trail. Along the course, racers will encounter adventure, photo, and cultural challenges involving strategy, problem solving, and creativity.
Equally important to us is that the challenges and triumphs of each of the athletes as they race will be chronicled by film crew with Destination Dominica as a beautiful backdrop. The production team will then put together an exciting production at the end, and you saw a little bit of what was put together for last year, in order to distribute to national, international, regional, local, and internet outlets for viewing by millions of people.
According to Mr. Piper, the Waitukubuli National Trail is the Caribbean's only long-distance hiking trail and extends for 115 miles.
We have long promoted Dominica as a nature island of the Caribbean. I think a label that no other island in the Caribbean can contest with, really. We have a definite comparative advantage in this regard when you speak about our nature. But in 2006, we did a repositioning exercise and widened that scope from just nature to include culture and adventure.
The race will commence on April 8th and culminate on April 11th. Mr. Benoit Badwell, TDA chairman, says this activity is packed with opportunities for adventure, a vital aspect for growing the tourism project.
So far for 2014, through the month of February, we can report that stay-over visitation has grown by 1.3% to over 13,700 visitors. And cruise passenger arrivals grew by 39.5% to 53,530 passengers.
The race forms part of planned activities to meet the DDA's target of attracting 90,000 visitors to Dominica by the year 2015. In other stories, Dominica joined the rest of the world in the observance of World Health Day, an event which is celebrated annually on April 7th to mark the founding of the World Health Organization in 1948. Each year, the organization selects a key health issue and encourages people of all ages and all backgrounds to host events that highlight the significance of this issue for good health and well-being. World Health Day provides a unique opportunity for communities from across the world to come together for one day to promote actions that can improve our health. This year's World Health Day is observed under the global theme Small Bites, Big Threats, focusing on vectors and vector-borne diseases. The purpose is to raise awareness about the threat posed by vectors and vector-borne diseases and to stimulate families and communities to take action to protect themselves. The director of Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, Dr. Carissa Etienne, emphasizes that these diseases lead to school absenteeism, worsening of poverty, a negative impact on economic productivity, high health costs, and overloaded health systems in countries. The Ministry of Health, in observing World Health Day, will undertake a month of activities running from April 7th to 30th, 2014, and will focus on vectors of public health significance, namely mosquitoes, rats, ticks, and flies. In related news, in an attempt to raise awareness and sensitize the public about vector-borne diseases, the Ministry of Health embarked on a number of activities in observation of World Health Day. Mrs. Anthelia James, Coordinator for Health Promotion, says this will also serve as a way to educate the public on methods that can be adopted to mitigate against these diseases.
We know these diseases are a major threat around the world, including Dominica and the Caribbean. These diseases cause a major burden, not only on the economic purse, but also on persons. Also, they affect the productivity of the country. They cause absenteeism. For example, if we think about what is going on right now with the outbreak of chikungunya that we have, persons cannot go to school, they cannot go to work, and when persons are sick, then your development ultimately suffers.
Mrs. James said it is very important that we all do our best to eliminate breeding areas for vectors such as mosquito that has caused the rapid spread of the chikungunya virus in Dominica. Chief Environmental Health Officer Mr. Anthony Scotland noted the Environmental Health Office teamed up with the Health Promotion Unit to embark on this initiative throughout the month.
So some of the activities we have outlined in that for the month include exhibitions. So we're going to be having vector-borne exhibitions where we'll be promoting, letting people see what are the vectors, the common vectors we have in Dominica, how they develop themselves, how they can transmit disease to man. Because one of the shortcoming I am seeing in our environment is that there is a disconnection between people recognizing this small baby mosquito, which is a regular, it can develop into an adult. And this adult mosquito can cause your death, or your death to family, or death to neighbors.
Other activities include a poster competition among primary schools, in addition to a vector-borne disease presentation, media discussions, and a media advocacy forum. There will also be a deserted vehicles cleanup drive, a community village hall discussion, and a community cleanup campaign in the Roseau and Marigot health districts. In other news, in October and November of 2013, author Delroy Regis published 3 books in the United States with Exton Press, based in Florida, and on Sunday, April 6th, he launched these books in Dominica at the Public Service Union. The books entitled 20 Powerful Messages for Today's Living, When I Broke My Leg, and A Valuable Security were published, produced, marketed, and distributed by the company.
Writing 3 books, and that's history for Dominica. An injured man writing 3 books on his bed. It was not an easy thing. It took a whole lot from me. In fact, editing the books back and forth in the US, and even when my wife, and I, we would sit down and edit, put things together, we would have our little fight.
Despite his prompt thinking and writing, there is always a setback whenever money is involved. The challenge in Mr. Regis's case was the cost of marketing and publishing.
The cost of publishing, distributing, marketing, production is very high. In fact, it cost over $50,000 to have this book published and to have about 3,000 copies in Dominica. And in this hard economic time, it's not easy. But I'm determined to move forward, not just to have books to sell, but to encourage reading in the public.
In the past, the author has overcome major challenges which he hopes to share with inmates at the Dominica State Prison.
Right now, I have started a 6 to 8 weeks program at the Dominica State Prison. Every week, I have 2 sessions with a group of prisoners. And I'm going to work with about 200. When I checked the last time, it was 257. And to ensure that each of them have a copy or have copies of this book.
Upon completion, all participants will receive a certificate of participation. Mr. Regis also hinted at the idea of incorporating secondary school students from 3rd to 5th form into a similar program.
Also, I'm thinking of working with the secondary schools from 3rd to 5th form, where I would encourage reading. And in fact, the program I am having at the prison is the art of mitigating negative behavior. And this is something we want to, work with. I want to work with the secondary schools from 3rd to 5th form. Because young people, it seems like there are times that there are negative things, and we want to encourage them and see how they can mitigate or lessen negative behavior.
The book can be purchased online from Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Exton Press, and Google. In more stories, in an attempt to raise funds for the completion of the Lubia Resource Center, a concert was organized to take place at the Harlem Plaza on Friday, April 4th, 2014. The well-attended event drew the presence of mainly young people from all across the island in what some describe as an epic experience. The concert features several local artists and bands, including DJ Alfie, Godsent, Sanctified, Cernel, and special guest artist Joel Positive Murray from Trinidad and Tobago. With his unique one-drop reggae singing style, Positive rapidly moved up the charts of the gospel hits in the Caribbean and beyond. The rise to the top, however, was not all positive and presented its fair share of obstacles.
My sister died from meningitis in the year 2003. My mom died from cancer in the year 2007. When my mom died, she had 150 US left in her bank account. My school books alone for that semester was 300 US. I wasn't working anywhere, and I was renting. But today I stand before you, graduated in my bachelor's degree with honors from the University of London. The scripture says in Luke 1:37, "For with God nothing shall be impossible." So that is the heart of where this music comes from.
To date, Positive has performed in several countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Costa Rica, St. Vincent, Jamaica, the United States, and Trinidad and Tobago.
The experience was excellent in Dominica. It's such a beautiful island with beautiful people. I'm looking forward to coming back once more once you invite me. So link me up on Facebook, facebook.com/positivetnt, on Twitter, Instagram, everything. I'm on every possible social network, right? So just look me up. It was a pleasure being here, blessing after blessing, and nothing can hold it back. Love you, Dominica.
No, you're sweating. How was the performance here compared to other Caribbean countries?
Oh, it was energetic. I mean, the entire Caribbean is really energetic, but I think Dominica has a special energy, and I really love it here.
And in court news, Samuel Xavier of Grand Bay has been sentenced to 18 months in prison for 3 firearm-related offenses. The 43-year-old was charged with possession of a .38 caliber revolver, possession of ammunition, and discharging a firearm in the Trafalgar Public Road on 8th January 2014. He pleaded guilty to all 3 charges. According to the facts, at about 7:10 a.m., police responded to a report of a firearm being discharged in the vicinity of the Trafalgar Primary School. Officers had to give chase, but finally apprehended the suspect and recovered the firearm and ammunition. Xavier, who claimed that he was collecting payment for selling weed, was not the holder of the firearm license and was arrested and charged. In mitigation, Magistrate Ali Gill told Xavier that he was obligated to impose a custodial sentence, since this was not his first offense of this kind. On each charge, Xavier was sentenced to 18 months in prison, with time spent considered, since he had been on remand since January. The sentences are to run concurrently. In more court news, Michael Honoré and Moses Duran of Yampis were jointly charged with possession of cannabis and intend to supply 126 grams of cannabis with a street value of $266.50. The men were arrested after members of the police task force executed a search warrant at the home of Honoré on the morning of 4th April 2014. A plastic bag containing the cannabis was found in a couch on which Duran was laying at the time. In court on Friday, Duran said he had visited Honoré's home the night before to view a movie and decided to spend the night over, but he was unaware that there were drugs in the house. After hearing his explanation and the facts of the matter, Magistrate Ali Gill asked that the charge be reread to Duran, who this time pleaded not guilty. The prosecution then withdrew the charge against Duran. Honoré was fined $750 for intent to supply, to be paid by 4th June 2014, or in default spend 2 months in prison. On the charge of possession of cannabis, he was reprimanded and discharged. Meanwhile, a family of 3, Michael Williams, his daughter Rohanna Williams, and son Mandela Williams, were jointly charged with possession of cannabis. The incident occurred on the morning of April 4, 2014 at Yampis. They each pleaded not guilty and were bailed for the sum of $500. The trial is set for 20th August 2014. In related news, Delroy Victor was reprimanded and discharged after he pleaded guilty to cultivation of 2 cannabis plants that was seized during the execution of a search warrant of his premises on April 4, 2014 at Yampis. In other court news, French national Sergi Denis Marie Grillon was ordered to pay the court a forfeit fine of $350 for theft. Grillon, 53 of Guadeloupe, was on island visiting his fiancée when the incident occurred on 1st April 2014. The facts stated that around 10 a.m. the defendant entered Save-A-Lot supermarket on the riverbank in Roseau and stole a bottle of Hennessy, 1.77 pounds of mild cheddar cheese, and 1 tray of ribeye steak, a total of $176.03. He placed a number of items into his grocery basket, including the stolen items. After having a conversation with a supermarket employee, the security officer monitored the defendant, who approached the cashier and paid for some of the items. After he was through cashing, the security officer approached the cashier and, in conversation, discovered that Greenlaw had not paid for some items that the security officer had seen him place into the basket. When the officer went outside the supermarket to confront the defendant, he observed him removing the cheese and steak from his pocket. The security officer then searched the bag and observed the bottle of Hennessy. In court on Friday, April 4, 2014, through an interpreter, a tearful Marie Greenlaw begged for pardon, explaining that this was the first time he had gotten into trouble in the 5 years he had been coming to the island. Before sentencing, Magistrate Ali Gill said Greenlaw's remorse and guilty plea would act in his favor. However, because of his age, he ought to have known better. Greenlaw's fiancée, who was present in court, paid the fine and he was released from police custody. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
The wheel of change is here at SAS. New and exciting rewards just for you. SAP customers, simply pay your bill and get the new Loyalty Plus plan for free. That's 26 channels absolutely free for a limited period. Yes, you heard me, free. And if you do pay your bill, you'll have a chance to win big with SAP TV. Up to $15,000 in prizes are up for grabs. 7-inch tablets, BlackBerry smartphones, food vouchers, and much, much more. Get more from SAP TV, the people's choice. SAP terms and conditions apply.
Dutch Lady brings you the best milk from Holland. Even though we make this lovely milk already for decades, we still keep up with the times. That's why Dutch Lady has new packaging. The same great quality with a fresh new look. Dutch Lady, milk for the whole family.
Introducing the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
In our top regional stories, the countries of Petro-Caribbean have reached major agreements to eradicate hunger in the region in conjunction with the United Nations Food and Agriculture, FAO. According to Venezuelan Foreign Minister Elias Joa, for its size, the Caribbean is a potential region to produce the food necessary for any man, woman, and child who suffer from the scourge of hunger. Each country in the region has an agricultural potential and share a maritime reserve that we must use wisely, he said. The minister believes that Latin America and the Caribbean have the land, resources, skills, vision, experience, technical, and the support of FAO to proceed with this project. In more regional news, on the French side of St. Martin, a technical debate to spread public funds to Caribbean countries lasted 3 days. The discussion leveled on the allocation of funds for Caribbean cooperation projects between Guadeloupe, French Guiana, Martinique, and St. Martin. 75% of the funds come from the European Union.
About 100 projects has been funded under this specific program, and the goal of the program is to strengthen the cooperation of the French overseas territories of the Caribbean with the other CARICOM countries.
The countries are very diverse and are in a great position to develop each other.
We think that those countries have a lot to give to the French territories. In the medical field, we can give to them. On the prevention field, we have nothing to give to them because we don't know how to do.
Another indirect project costing US $100 million will soon be launched and provide funding until 2020. This move will reconnect the French Caribbean territories. And on the international scene, vigilante groups in Mexico have protested against moves by the security forces to disarm them. The self-defense groups emerged last year in the western state of Michoacan to protect residents from local drug cartels such as the Knights Templar. The group fears that if disarmed, the Knights Templar will try and kill them. Vigilante spokesman Jose Manuel Mireles said he and his men would continue moving into communities to clean them of cartel members. Sports is next with Larry, so stay tuned.
The wheel of change is here at SAS. New and exciting rewards just for you. SAS customers simply pay your bill and get the new Loyalty Plus plan for free. That's 26 channels absolutely free for a limited period. Yes, you heard me, free. And if you do pay your bill, you'll have a chance to win big with SAT TV. Up to $15,000 in prizes are up for grabs. 7-inch tablets, BlackBerry smartphones, food vouchers, and much, much more. Get more from SAT TV, the people's choice. SAT terms and conditions apply.
Can you afford to lose everything? In times of uncertainty, ensure you have the security of Quartz Payment Protection. When you shop with Quartz Ready Finance Gold or Ultimate Plan, if you lose your job after 6 months of making payments, our redundancy coverage ensures that the payment on your account continues for up to 12 months. Don't risk losing everything. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and get the payment protection plan that protects you against redundancy, disability, death, and loss of item due to natural disaster, fire, flood, or theft. Quartz Ready Finance with payment protection. Quartz, bringing value home.
Thank you for staying tuned. The International Cricket Council ICC has announced the men's team for the tournament in the 2014 ICC World 2020 in Bangladesh, with India's MS Dhoni named as captain. The team includes 4 players from India, 2 from South Africa and the West Indies respectively, and 1 representative from Australia, the Netherlands and Sri Lanka. The list is as follows: Rohit Sharma, India, 200 runs. Stefan Myburgh, Netherlands, 224 runs. Virat Kohli, India, 319 runs. JP Dumini, South Africa, 187 runs. Glenn Maxwell, Australia, 147 runs. MS Dhoni, India, captain and wicketkeeper, 50 runs, 6 dismissals. Darren Sammy, West Indies, 101 runs. Ravichandran Ashwin, India, 11 wickets. Dale Steyn, South Africa, 9 wickets. Samuel Badri, West Indies, 11 wickets. Lasith Malinga, Sri Lanka, 5 wickets. The 12th player is Krishna Santuki, West Indies, 8 wickets. In more cricket, Kumar Sangakkara struck an unbeaten 52 as Sri Lanka defeated India by 6 wickets on Sunday to finally win the World 2020 title. Sri Lanka reached 134 for 4 in 17.5 overs to complete the long-awaited win in an ICC World Tournament after restricting India to an unimpressive 130 for 4. And in football, we go to Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Football Association, Mr. Gerald George.
Results of matches in the National Leagues of the Dominica Football Association over the weekend. In the Intermediate League on Friday, Pottersville Youth Soccer Academy and Trafalgar Academy played to a 1-1 draw in the first match of a doubleheader. Gerard Parker scored for Pottersville, while Chevron Dover scored for Trafalgar. In the second match of the night, National Press and Tony Collio edged out Jays Limited Grand for 10 points 3-2. Distran Josie from the back of the net twice for Collio, with Kimaya Strand 31. Kelvin George and Hezron Prince scored for Granford. On Saturday, All Saints defeated Kenfield Football Club 2-0 at the Buffett State. Patro's old mother Bello scored for All Saints. While at the Benjamin Park, MV Maxano Bombers remained unbeaten in the zone with a 2-0 victory over RC Doctors. Kish Elise and Yanel Joseph scored 1 each. Meanwhile, in the Dominic Women's League on Sunday, New Generation Sports Club defeated Mao Soccer Strikers 4-0 to remain in title contention. Donna Rivera George from the back of the net twice for Generation, with Tracy Ann Etienne and Ezra Elwin scoring 1 each. In the second match, defending champions New India Goodwill Runners maintained their lead at the top of the points table by default over Southeast Stars. And in the All-Island League, 2 goals from Chris McIntyre and 1 each from Peter Malstead and Andes Joseph gave Harlem United a 4th win over Young Gunners at the Newton playing field. Sean Joseph and Serrani Benjamin scored for Young Gunners. While at the Benjamin Park, Glanville Renegades defeated Layu 4-2. Tarek got the prize for Renegade, with Jason Wilshire and Bolarino got one each.
Thank you, Mr. George, for that report.
Thank you, Larry. Now for today's history. On this day in 1940, Booker T. Washington was the first black person to be honored on a U.S. Postal Service stamp issued at a cost of 10 cents. Washington, born enslaved on April 5, 1856, was part of the U.S. Postal Service's famous American series. President Franklin D. Roosevelt had urged that Washington have his own stamp after numerous petitions from African American supporters. We now join the Dominica Met Office for today's weather report.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am your presenter, Annie Corrett Joseph. A high-pressure system maintained its dominance across most of the islands today. A few patches of low-level clouds moving from the east to the west moved across Dominica, and this resulted in some fair to partly cloudy skies. Earlier radar imagery indicated spotty shower activity across most of the islands. Melvin Hall and Kenfield did not record any rainfall today. However, some of the communities on the east and southeastern coast of Dominica did experience some shower activity today. What conditions are expected for tonight? Apart from some late night to early morning showers, fair to partly cloudy skies are expected. Temperatures on the coast are expected to be down to 25 degrees Celsius and 22 in the interior. Breezy conditions are also expected tonight, winds 40 kilometers per hour coming from the southeast. Tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy conditions, temperatures on the coast 30 degrees Celsius and 26 in the interior. Winds breezy again, 40 kilometers per hour coming from the southeast. Sea conditions, moderate in open water, with swells expected to peak up to 8 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to exercise some caution. Apart from some late night to early morning showers, fair to partly cloudy skies are expected throughout the 3-day period. Temperatures are expected to peak near 30 degrees Celsius throughout, with winds on Tuesday being up to 40 kilometers per hour and 35 kilometers per hour on Wednesday and Thursday. A high-pressure system will continue to be the dominant feature across most of the island chain. Apart from some late night to early morning showers in Guadeloupe and Dominica and some afternoon showers in Puerto Rico, fair to partly cloudy and also breezy conditions are expected across the entire chain. Temperatures are expected to be up to 30 degrees Celsius across most of the islands and 31 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The international cities, apart from some showers in New York and thunderstorm in Miami, beautiful conditions are expected in London, Caracas, and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:56 a.m. and set at 6:19 p.m. For updated information, visit our website at www.weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next weather broadcast. Good night.
Our thanks to the Met Office for that report. Now to the thought of the day. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Helen Keller. That's the thought of the day, and this takes us to the end of our newscast for the evening. When we return, a recap of the headlines.
The wheel of change is here at SAS. New and exciting rewards just for you. SAP customers simply pay your bill and get the new Loyalty Plus plan for free. That's 26 channels absolutely free for a limited period. Yes, you heard me, free. And if you do pay your bill, you'll have a chance to win big with Sat TV. Up to $15,000 in prizes are up for grabs. 7-inch tablets, BlackBerry smartphones, food vouchers, and much, much more. Get more from Sat TV, the people's choice. Sat terms and conditions apply.
Introducing the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
And now for a recap of the headlines. Ministry of Health to observe a month of activities in recognition of World Health Day. FAO and PetroCaribe ratify agreements to reduce hunger in the region. Mexican vigilantes protest against plan to disarm them. And in sports, Sri Lanka wins 2014 ICC World 2020 title. You have been watching Sat TV's news. We thank you for joining us, and we invite you to join us again tomorrow for another newscast. On behalf of Sat TV's news production team, I'm Alicia George, wishing you a pleasant evening. Feel free to send your queries and comments to news@sat.dm. You can also join us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/sattelecoms or follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/SatTelecoms. Remember, Sat Telecoms is the people's choice, and SatNet, a better choice.